What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, we are going to do a deep dive into the new upcoming Soulbound reward cards, similar to what we did with the Gladiators and similar to whenever a new set is released. Now, I was going to try and do this in less videos, but it does seem like there's a significant amount. 1, 2... 3, 4, and I guess 5. There's like 7 cards per splinter. So we'll just go splinter by splinter. It'll just be easier for me, and then I don't have to like do all of this at one time. So we're going to start with the fire splinter and go from there. So I'm really excited about this. I didn't want to do it as soon as they hit the test server, mainly because I've already heard there's been so many different tweaks and adjustments and balancing. So hopefully at this point in time, and I'm recording this the morning of Wednesday, January 25th. So we have less than a week until it gets implemented, or until they get implemented into the game. We shouldn't see too much more balancing out, but just in case, you know, everything is subject to change. So let's go ahead and start from the bottom up. There's no easy way to filter only for the new Soulbound reward cards. So we're going to start here with the Ferox Defender. Now, I did get a chance to play with some of these, again, only at max level on the test server, on, you know, the Splinterlands TV stream, and I think the stream before that as well. So I don't know what these monsters are like at the lowest levels, but that's kind of why I want to do this deep dive, because we are going to get them only at the beginning, right? Or we're going to get them at level 1 and have to work our way up. So I want to know which are the cards that I may actually have some utility for at the lower levels. And I can already see something like Ferox Defender being one, because that protect ability is super clutch. So here you go. You get a tank or a, you know, melee monster that it can't do much at level 1. It's 8 mana, so it's hefty, but you get the protect, you get a decent meat shield, and you get some armor. It's a little slow and doesn't do much damage. Now, maxed for bronze, though, there's still not much more. You get 1 more armor, 1 more health. Maxed for silver is just okay. I guess you get an increased attack, and then you go back up to your health. That's weird that you lose a health there, but we've seen that before. Now, gold is where I would really want to see this thing start to shine, because now you get a fantastic, in my opinion, like actually very fantastic armor or support monster that has both the protect ability, so it's giving everybody armor, and then it can repair that armor, unless of course it's dispelled for any reason. On the flip side, once you get into a max level or Diamond Plus, where you can play level 9 and above, you will get that third attack, which is great at max, but you also get a shatter ability, or the shatter ability, I should say. So now all of a sudden, not only are they defensive, but helping you on the offensive. So this is one that I like. Again, will I use it much at level 1? I think there'll be very specific scenarios, because as of now, I believe this is the only monster that Fire has available in Modern, and I'm not including Untamed and Dice in Modern, because not everybody has that, but the only Fire monster in Modern that will give you the protectability right off the get-go. So whenever that could be handy, definitely. But would I use this over Salty Bear? Probably not. But Salty Bear is neutral. So let's say there's a situation in which I wouldn't be able to use Salty Bear, like a no neutral game. Probably not. But getting to 100 BCX, you know, we'll see. We'll see how quickly we can start to level these things up. I'm super excited for like about a week from now, because hopefully by then I'll be opening my first reward chest. Okay, number 2, the Fire Caller. Now this is a ranged monster, and from the get-go you get the Martyr ability. Oh wow, Martyr ability on a common monster. That's kind of crazy. So he's somebody that, okay, at level 1, so this is an ability that I think could be awesome at level 1. If you know your opponent is going to play some kind of opportunity monster, the health isn't really there, and it's not that great of an attacker, but for 5 mana, you could give adjacent monsters. So let's say someone like, if I put him in the back near someone like Supply Runner and Countess Sinesh, I mean, now we're making those guys pretty good, and those can be at like max level, and he can still benefit someone like Countess Sinesh by giving that extra attack and then the blast damage and all that. So this is a card that I could actually see myself using as kind of like a sacrificial lamb. Now, 5 mana as a sacrificial lamb might be a little bit of a stretch, but again, throughout bronze, look at this. You lose a health, but you gain that attack, and you gain a speed to max for bronze. Maxed for silver. Now this dude is really fast, still doing 3 damage, but you've increased your speed. You've increased your health to 3, or I should say back up to 3. And then maxed for gold, or in gold, you get this Fury ability, which makes him a little bit better. I don't know how much taunt there is out there, but I mean, there's a lot. But it's not terrible. I don't know that I really use it for the Fury ability. It's the Martyr ability that really impresses me. And then the Snare ability, which again, I never play a monster specifically for Snare, but also I can't think of many fire monsters that have the Snare ability. So he becomes interesting now, actually, very interesting in something like an Earthquake rule set where he gets this added utility. And again, if you're going up against a monster with Fury, such as like a dragon, what's that called? Aggro Longtail, that has the taunt ability and is flying. Well, here you go. You got someone who's guaranteed to die because they don't have flying and can buff up the other people near them while also helping. So very situational as he gets bigger or as he levels up, but I like it from the get-go, which is great. And I think that's going to be a theme we're going to see with a lot of cards, is they're going to have level 1 abilities that we don't normally see or haven't really experienced yet. Okay, so let's move on to the rares. So Pyre Watch Devil. Okay, so you get Life Leech. That's fascinating. I'm trying to think of a fire monster that has Life Leech off the bat. But 3 mana, you get Life Leech. It's not going to do much until you would... Well, it's still going to only do 1. But the Dispel ability... Okay, so sorry, let's go back. So you got your bronze level abilities. He has the speed of 3. 3 mana, 1 damage, Life Leech. It's okay. I don't know that I would use it much. Max it for silver. And again, not much. But for 3 mana, I think the Oppress and Dispel abilities when you get higher. So again, Dispel is going to be in gold and Oppress is going to be in Diamond Plus. But keep in mind, they're trying to buff up these abilities, right? With Bloodlust, with probably Martyr. I mean, Dispel is going to be able to remove a bunch of other stuff now. So and Oppress is going to be able to attack a lot of these monsters with weapons training. So I actually think at the higher levels, this card, 3 mana, 3 damage, but Dispel and Oppress, that could come in real clutch, especially in lower mana games where you might be up against like a smaller card. Smaller mana card. Okay, now let's move on to, and I should probably, for the future videos, I'll start with the summoners. Now, I like this one a lot, Eternan Brune, because this is the summoner. So you get the Conscript ability, which allows you to play a gladiator card, and there's definitely some good fire gladiators out there. But the -2 armor, I think, is actually really valuable right now with the current meta. You got and again, I'm really just looking Chaos Legion onwards, but you have Lux Vega, Kelia, Queen Mycelia, you have, what's his name? Grandmaster Wraith, like all these guys giving armor and the ability to kind of remove that, especially because if you aren't able to play Yasik, for example, with Pierce, or you just don't want to deal with it, right? I think this is a great ability to have. Now, 6 mana for the summoners is quite expensive, but I like that. Keep in mind that I like the 6 mana summoners simply because I don't want them to be overpowered and people just get them for free. I think that having, they have an amazing ability if you have the gladiator cards. But what we don't want is for, bot farms to come online by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and just start farming these cards for free. So, and again, I still don't think we have a print limit or print rate. I hope that they reveal that soon, or if there is one. But that is what we have for the Fire Summoner. Let's move on to the epics. Now, the epics are interesting in the sense that none of them have any attack, so they are perfect for the weapons training ability, but they are supposed to be awesome support cards. And I think Fire is one of the best, and it pairs well with the legendary fire monster, which we're going to get to in a second. So you got 6 mana here at the lowest level, 6 mana. It's a decent meat shield with 3 armor, 8 health, and 4 speed. It does have taunt from the get-go, so I can't think of a fire monster right now in the current meta that has taunt in Chaos Legion or Rift Watchers. So being able to have these, if you don't have a Coral Lurker, if you don't have a Magnor, this is going to come in super clutch. Now, It's decently fast. It doesn't do any attack, but as you go a little bit higher, so max for bronze would actually be level 2, so you get that redemption ability. Max for silver would only be level 3, but once you get into gold, you get the return fire ability. So now you have a monster that you can use, especially if you don't have magic in a battle, for example. And you know that your opponent's probably going to be using a good amount, like a Jotun, for example. I mean, this is a perfect Jotun counter if you think about it. And then as you get higher and maxed out, you get magic and phase. So now all of a sudden this becomes a phenomenal card for non-melee games. So these epic cards are going to be really clutch in my opinion. I'm super happy about the fact that the legendary potions will also increase your chances of getting an epic card. And this is one that I think, at least from what I've seen just briefly, one of the best. Now, this one pairs well, keep in mind, because it has no attack. It pairs well with this legendary card here, Phyrexian Hero. Now, Phyrexian Hero is the card for fire that has the weapons training ability. So check this out. I mean, you're able to put this dude in the reach position from level 1. He gives an attack, right? Half of his attack. So at the lowest levels, he's giving 2 attack. At the highest levels, he's giving 3 attack, right? And on top of that, once you get to gold level, you get Reflection Shield. So this is the perfect Jotun counter for everybody who has, like, let's say you get a fire-only deck or fire-only rule set, and you know that your opponent has Jotun and they're going to spam you with Jotun. Well, boom, you throw a taunt on your on that first monster. I forgot the names. I'm gonna have to learn the names again. And then you throw this dude in the reach position. Now he gives that taunt monster. I want to come up. I want to be able to be better with names. He gives Idri Fire an attack, which isn't really necessarily needed. But now Idri is gonna have Return Fire as well as phase in case there's any magic attacks. And anything that does hit will either be returned back, or if it does hit, the Reflection Shield should cover that on the back end. So I'm a big fan of that combination. I think fire is going to have a lot of pun intended firepower with that overall lineup. So again, it's going to be a while. I don't think people are going to be able to max this out right away, but it does work towards something where if you can get it in the first 4 to 6 months before Rebellion comes out, you will have yet another counter to Jotun, in my opinion. Or just counter to any kind of blast rule set. Okay, and then the final card, Soriel the Bale. Now, this is a 9 mana card, so not quite a giant, but check this out. You have, from the get-go, Double Strike. So this is 9 mana doing 4 damage total, right? 2 and 2. It's a little slow in my opinion. Sure, when you get it to level 2, you get that blind ability, which I think is clutch. Level 3 and above is where I think it gets much more interesting because, again, that rust ability for fire is really valuable right now. The only person I know that has it, I think, is Living Lava. And again, that's an untamed card. You have to have that leveled up. It probably costs way too much. So having this in the meta allows you to get that rust ability. Again, granted, it's only in gold and above, but you'd have that rust ability. And then you'd have somebody that can do a decent amount of damage. Now, at the max level, you get that 3rd attack, but it's still slow. So I don't know how I feel about this one just yet. I think I like Phyrexian Hero better as a legendary, but overall I think they serve great purposes. And as you can see from all of, well, actually, let's just turn all this off. You can see 8 mana, 5 mana. I mean, these are, well, here's a 3 mana card. But, you know, a lot of these, especially the legendaries, I mean, these guys are high mana, 8 and 9 mana. So they're perfect for these larger mana games, which we're starting to see much more often. So that is all I have for the Fire Splinter. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully nothing changes. But other than that, we will keep the series going. So keep an eye out. We'll do Water. And then let's see, Dragon. How many dragons are there? I'm trying to see if we're gonna do maybe we'll probably end up doing Dragon and Neutral together, similar to what we did for the Gladiator. So that is all I have. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.